To Georgia now, where crowds have clashed with police for a third consecutive night in the capital, Tbilisi. They accuse the ruling Georgian Dream party of pulling the country into Russia's orbit. Earlier, Georgia's Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze said the state would not allow a revolution to take place. The wave of unrest was sparked when the government froze talks to join the European Union.
Police fire tear gas and use water cannons to disperse pro-European protests outside the parliament in Tbilisi. Thousands of protesters across the country rallied for a third night in a row, demanding that the government resume talks with the EU.
The thing is that for many days now already, hundreds of thousands of people are coming out to protest, self-organized, sacrificing themselves, their health and life, for one reason. These people want to see themselves and Georgia in the EU.
I'm protesting Russia, first of all. Russia is trying to occupy whole Georgia, and they're trying to occupy us by getting the government they want in Georgia and taking us in without any power. They want to slave us. They want that. So we want peace, but we want freedom. We are able to fight for our freedom.
The pro-Western Georgian president Surabishvili calls the government illegitimate and is backing the protests.
We'll accomplish this together. Together, we'll represent the future we are on the verge of reaching through new elections. A new Georgia that will reclaim its European path, its independence, and most importantly, its free path to development. A path we will not surrender to anyone.
Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze said in response to the protests that the state will not allow a revolution to take place. But the people on the streets make clear on where they see their country in the future.
We're joined now by DW's Maria Katamadze, who's been following the protests in Tbilisi. Maria, good to see you. It's the morning after another very intense night of demonstrations. What is the situation now in the Georgian capital?
Almost after 15 hours, the protests still continue. They're obviously lesser, much lesser in the scale, but people are still protesting. Now they moved from the Parliament Square to the Georgia State University. So the protesters are still, standing their ground. They say that they're determined and they're not going to leave, and they're going to come out in bigger sort of numbers also during the night and evening. We understand that there has been a sort of national consensus around EU integration in this country. Whether you take the pro-government Georgians or opposition supporters, everyone seemed to at least more than 80% of people wanted to become part of the EU. And now when the government is turning away from Europe, that's why we see this anger. Well, to be fair, it's actually this night has been we've seen less violence tonight if we compare to the previous two nights, but still there were some arrests and the police would snatch people out of the crowd waving European flags. So it's definitely quite tense still, and we expect that the protests will continue and the crackdown as well.
So demonstrations expected to continue. What about opposition politicians and also the Georgian president, who has voiced her support for these protests? What kind of steps could we expect from them?
Now, the opposition parties and Georgian president, they're expected to formally launch a permanent council today. They say that this will be a council that is going to push for new elections, that is going to, keep, having contacts with the EU that the government is breaking, and, just organize nationwide protests. Really, the protests are not just happening here in the city of Tbilisi, but nationwide, in villages, in small towns. It looks like a really powerful sort of national movement from the ground, and we understand that the opposition and the president will again, in a unified sort of manner, would present their action plan to the public. They say that they're not ready to give up as the stakes are quite high. They view the government as pro-Russian, but they say that the Georgians support Europe, and that's the future that they deserve, and we're going to fight for this future. That is the position of the pro-EU president and opposition.
That was DW's Maria Katamatsa reporting from the Georgian capital, Tbilisi. Maria, thank you.